Mateusz Kawecki's story begins with a journey of hope, but ends in an unimaginable tragedy. On the night of March 28, 2018, Mateusz, a 30-year-old Polish construction worker living in Germany, set out on a 400-mile journey from Hanover to Lipia Góra, Poland. He was headed to meet his fiancée and to witness the birth of his first child. This drive was meant to be a joyful prelude to fatherhood, but it soon transformed into a haunting mystery that left his family searching for answers. When Mateusz's family lost contact with him that day, their initial concern turned into a desperate search. They would wait months before receiving any answers, and even then, those answers only deepened the mystery surrounding his death. In an unexpected twist, Mateusz's body was discovered in a location far from his intended destination, under circumstances that left more questions than closure. In this video, we will explore the sequence of events that led up to Mateusz's disappearance, the strange discoveries made by his family and local authorities, and the enduring questions that still remain. Join us as we delve into the mysterious disappearance and unexplained death of Mateusz Kawecki, a man who set out to meet his child but instead vanished into a labyrinth of unanswered questions. Mateusz Kawecki was known by friends and family as a kind, reliable man with a deep sense of responsibility. Born and raised in the small village of Hutkau in southeastern Poland, he had been working as a construction worker in Hanover, Germany, for about 5 years. Mateusz shared a home in Hanover with his father, who also worked in construction, and the two had built a life in Germany while maintaining close ties to their family back in Poland. Mateusz's life seemed to be heading in a hopeful direction. He was engaged to his fiancée, who lived in Lipia Góra, a village in northwestern Poland, and she was expecting their first child. Although the two lived in different countries, they managed to maintain a long-distance relationship, planning for the future of their growing family. Mateusz was eagerly anticipating the birth of his daughter, and his decision to drive from Germany to Poland on March 28, 2018, was a testament to his commitment as a soon-to-be father. Mateusz's disappearance would be as perplexing as it was tragic, especially because it occurred during a trip he had long anticipated. His family describes him as grounded and focused, making the strange circumstances surrounding his death even harder for them to comprehend. On the night of March 28, 2018, Mateusz Kawecki began his drive from Hanover, Germany to Lipia Góra, Poland, a journey that would take around 8 to 9 hours. He left Hanover after work at approximately 11:30 p.m., driving his 1998 BMW 525 through the night, hoping to reach Lipia Góra by morning to meet his newborn daughter. The next day, on March 29th, Mateusz's father attempted to reach him by phone around 10:30 a.m. Mateusz answered, explaining that he had been delayed by traffic due to multiple accidents along the way. He mentioned being near Szczecin, a town close to the Polish-German border, meaning he had roughly 2 more hours left on his journey. Around that same time, he also sent a text message to his fiancée, telling her he was on his way and would arrive soon. But Mateusz never made it to Lipia Góra. Later that day, his fiancée became concerned after receiving no further updates. Calls to Mateusz's phone went unanswered, and by 5 p.m., his fiancée had contacted his sister, who also lived in Hanover. Mateusz's phone continued to ring, but he didn't pick up, raising his family's alarm. By evening, Mateusz's mother attempted to report him missing to the police, though authorities initially discouraged her, suggesting that he would likely show up on his own. As days turned into weeks, Mateusz's family became more desperate. They reported him missing in both Germany and Poland, only to face bureaucratic hurdles as authorities struggled to coordinate across borders. Mateusz had simply vanished without a trace, leaving his family with a growing sense of dread. Frustrated by the lack of police action, Mateusz's family decided to conduct their own search, retracing his journey from Hanover to Lipia Góra. They drove the route he would have taken, stopping at gas stations and speaking with staff, asking if anyone had seen him or his car. They posted flyers with his image in towns along the way and questioned people in markets, hoping that someone might recall seeing him. The family also reached out to local TV networks to broadcast Mateusz's disappearance, pleading for public assistance. But despite their efforts, no new leads emerged. The case remained a mystery, and it seemed as if Mateusz and his car had simply vanished into thin air. In the following months, his family continued to search, haunted by the unanswered question of what had happened on that road between Germany and Poland. Authorities eventually tracked his phone records, though this effort yielded no helpful clues. It was unclear where exactly Mateusz had last been located, as his phone never connected to a Polish network. This only deepened the mystery, as no records showed his phone crossing into Poland, despite his call with his father from near the border. As time passed, his family's fears grew, and the sense that something terrible had happened settled in. They continued their efforts, but without any trace of Mateusz or his car, they were left with a frustrating lack of answers. Nearly 6 months after Mateusz's disappearance, on September 12, 2018, a shocking discovery was made in his home village of Hutkau, Poland. A neighbor, noticing an unpleasant odor coming from the Kawecki family barn, approached Mateusz's mother to ask about it. The smell had been present since July, and neighbors were beginning to complain, suspecting a dead animal might be the cause. The neighbor offered to investigate, checking the area beneath the barn's roof. Part of the barn had been walled off, creating an attic-like space that wasn't frequently accessed. Upon climbing into the attic, he made a grisly discovery: a decomposed human body, partially dismembered and accompanied by disturbing items. The remains included a torso and severed head, which were later identified as Mateusz's. The scene was deeply unsettling. There were 2 nooses hanging from the ceiling, and nearby, a backpack filled with personal items, including Mateusz's wallet, his Polish water bottle, and a juice box. Strangely, Mateusz was known to dislike orange juice. His phone was also in the bag, which was unusual since it had been ringing for days after his disappearance. The police quickly ruled Mateusz's death a homicide, citing the presence of the nooses. However, the circumstances left many questions. The fact that his body had been left in his family's barn, in a location visible from the ground, seemed odd. His family had used the barn throughout the summer, yet they claimed they hadn't noticed anything unusual before the smell became noticeable. The details of Mateusz's death left his family with profound doubts about the ruling. For one, Mateusz's destination had been the northwestern village of Lipia Góra, where his fiancée lived, not his home village of Hutkau, located in southeastern Poland. This was a nearly 400-mile detour, and there was no clear reason for him to have traveled back to his family's barn. Furthermore, the condition of Mateusz's remains was troubling. 4 days after the initial discovery, his family found a detached foot inside a shoe left in the barn. This overlooked evidence raised questions about the thoroughness of the police investigation. The discovery of his teeth scattered on his clothes, possibly knocked out before or after death, only added to the suspicion. The belongings in Mateusz's backpack also puzzled his family. The juice box, which he was known to dislike, and the cigarette butts seemed out of character. The fact that police had not analyzed these items left the family feeling as though important evidence had been disregarded. Finally, Mateusz's car was still missing, along with his keys and vehicle registration. Despite extensive searches, the vehicle has never been located, and no one reported seeing it in either Germany or Poland. This missing piece of the puzzle continues to baffle his family. The troubling details of Mateusz Kawecki's death raised numerous questions, leaving his family with haunting uncertainties. With little conclusive evidence and so many unanswered questions, various theories emerged as his loved ones struggled to make sense of his final days. One theory suggests that Mateusz may have been a victim of foul play. The presence of his scattered teeth, the severed head, and the fact that his body was concealed in the family's barn rather than left out in the open points to the possibility that someone else was involved. The unexplained items found with his body, the juice box, for instance, which Mateusz was known to dislike, suggest that someone else could have been present before or during his death. Supporters of this theory question how Mateusz's body could have been placed in his family's barn, in an attic-like space visible from the ground. without anyone noticing signs of entry or disturbance. Another theory contends that Mateusz might have suffered a psychological breakdown or been under extreme duress, leading him to return to his home village and ultimately to the barn. His loved ones find this difficult to believe, as Mateusz had been on his way to meet his newborn child. While it's true he had been under some stress, his family insists that he was excited about his daughter's birth, making it unlikely that he would abandon his plans so drastically. Additionally, his detour back to Hutkau makes little sense, as he hadn't informed anyone about plans to return there. The fact that his car remains missing only deepens the mystery. How could an entire vehicle vanish without a trace? The car's disappearance and lack of reported sightings across both Germany and Poland suggest that someone may have intentionally hidden or disposed of it, potentially to cover their tracks. Without the car, crucial evidence has likely been lost, leaving the family without any clear answers. Another perplexing element is the phone activity logged after Mateusz's disappearance. On March 30th, one day after his last known contact, a call was placed from Mateusz's phone to his uncle. The call lasted less than a second and was likely a pocket dial, but it suggests that his phone remained in use after he vanished. Authorities have dismissed this detail, but it remains troubling for his family, who wonder if someone else might have been with him in his final hours. Mateusz's family had hoped that the police would reconsider the case in light of the unusual circumstances surrounding his death. However, local authorities in Poland quickly ruled his death a suicide and were unwilling to investigate further. Despite the unsettling evidence and the lack of a clear motive, police cited the presence of the nooses as sufficient proof for their conclusion. The family's attempts to push for a second investigation were met with resistance. They argued that the incomplete evidence collection, like the missed discovery of his detached foot and the lack of analysis on personal items, warranted closer scrutiny. But police dismissed their concerns, insisting that there was no foul play involved. The family's appeals to higher authorities and the media did little to alter the official stance, leaving them to confront their grief without any definitive answers. This refusal by law enforcement has only amplified the family's frustrations and suspicions. They continue to question the gaps in the investigation and the failure to properly examine key pieces of evidence. For Mateusz's loved ones, the lack of closure is a constant source of pain, and they are left wondering if the truth about his death will ever come to light. Mateusz Kawecki's mysterious death has not only affected his family, but has also had a profound impact on his local community. As details of the case emerged, many villagers began to speculate about what truly happened to Mateusz and whether his death could indeed have been a suicide. His story spread throughout Poland, capturing the attention of those fascinated and horrified by unsolved mysteries. Local residents, aware of the layout of the Kawecki family barn, were puzzled by the police's findings. People who had known Mateusz and his family for years found it hard to believe that he would travel over 600 kilometers back to his home village just to end his life in such a place. The barn, located within sight of neighbors and frequented by his family, seemed an unlikely location for someone intending to take their own life. As the case gained public interest, online forums and media outlets featured discussions around the unanswered questions. Many questioned why certain clues hadn't been analyzed further, and why police were so quick to dismiss the case as despite the suspicious circumstances. These discussions fueled theories that Mateusz's death may have involved other individuals, and public interest remains high as his story endures as one of Poland's unsettling mysteries. Mateusz Kawecki's story is a haunting reminder of how easily mysteries can remain unresolved, even when loved ones push relentlessly for answers. For his family, his disappearance and the circumstances of his death have left an emptiness that cannot be filled by the official ruling. They live with the burden of unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss, haunted by the knowledge that Mateusz's journey ended not with the joy of meeting his newborn child, but with a tragedy that defies explanation. If you were moved by Mateusz's story, we invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're committed to exploring mysteries like Mateusz's and advocating for those who deserve answers. By joining our community, you help keep these stories alive and bring awareness to cases that, like Mateusz's, deserve our attention. Thank you for watching, and we hope you'll be with us on our next investigation into the unknown.